All right, these right here are plaster washers. That's what they're called. You could order them online, and they all you do is shoot a drywall screw into it. Now, this is not the dog actually chewed this, so it didn't go through the wall. So what you gotta do is make sure that you got all the paper trimmed off with a razor. So I'm doing right there. Just make sure all the paper trimmed off with a razor. Then with the drywall screw, you screw it in, but you got to make sure that it's deep enough where when you put the compound over it, that's what I'm listening for clickers right now to see if there's compound over it. Because if there's compound, like if it was clicking, I would have just went ahead and took it out and put the drywall screw. Now this is I don't like facet and joint compound. I don't know, it really doesn't work well with me, so I just use the joint compound and then let it set over the day. So since there were other scratches and other imperfections in this wall, we had a puppy. He scratched everything up. I just went ahead and I got rid of all the imperfections that were on the wall. And when this room, I built the room and I had somebody else do the interior. When it settled, we got a little bit of cracks in there. So I just went ahead and, finished all the lines. You see with the bead line right there, I'm just finishing all the lines and tightening it up nice and smooth. This is only the first joint compound. I always do 3 joint compounds. I just think it looks so much nice, and I sand in between every one of them. I completely make that nice, and then I put a wet paper towel over it, so then this way it does not dry overnight when I put it there. Now that's the plastic wood, or the wood plastic. So the dog chewed that right there. And the good thing is this is actually white, so it looks really nice. So I always use sanding pads. So that's just my sanding pads, and I'm going ahead and making sure everything is, there's no like big things sticking out, like no bite marks or anything like that sticking out. And then this is the plastic, I think it's called plastic wood. So with the plastic wood, I'm putting it on little by little. I'm trying to smooth it as best I can so I don't have to sand too much. But believe it or not, this stuff was pretty hard to sand with that sanding pad. I didn't think it was going to be as hard to sand as it was. Although the good thing is it really matched the wood itself. So I'm putting enough on. I don't overdo it. I rather do 2 or 3 coats than to put one big glob on there. So that's right there. I'm just trying to finesse it and make it like nice and smooth before I go ahead and have to sand it on the next day. Okay, so this is the next day. It's already dried. So I've got my sanding pad and I'm sanding everything down to make sure it's flush. See? So that's normally really pretty much flush right there. And I go, I think it's a 120 or a 220. I'm not sure. If you got really hard stuff to get down, I use a 80 grit. But right here, this isn't really bad. So I think this is like a 220 that I'm sanding with right here. And then before I put the next coat of joint compound on, I sand it all smooth, and then I wipe it down and I sweep it off to make sure there's nothing on there, because see, I'm sweeping it off right now, because if there's dry dust and dry joint compound, it's gonna mess up your neck smooth. Now see, I had the paper towel on that, the wet paper towel, so now it's perfect. So what you're trying to do is go a little bit wider than you did the day before. Get it as smooth as you could get, but you're going to knock it down with the sander anyways the next day, but get it as smooth as you get and try to blend it in with the sides already. You're trying to blend it in with the stuff that wasn't, but if it's, I'd rather put a thin coat and put an extra coat than to put a big glob on it. So, and like I said, this isn't fast set and joint compound. I always take 3 days. So with the project you're seeing here, took me 3 days long to do. And I didn't want to have the whole room redone when there were just a little bit imperfection. This room is maybe 5 years old, so I'm just going ahead with the joint compound, and I'm sanding it and I'm getting it. It's going to look, you're not even going to be able to tell anything was happened to this room. I had Cisco, the Rottweiler, the puppy. When you wouldn't pay attention to him, he would get bored and he would start chewing the wall. So there's a wood sand, the sanding, and it was harder than I expected. That stuff got harder than I expected, so it took a lot more sanding than I expected. So I could have used a air sander or power sander, but I didn't want to have to go downstairs and get it. So you see that I'm sanding it pretty smooth as best as I can. And then right here, I'm just going back to the wall now. After I got that all smooth, I'm going back to the wall, and I'm trying to feather. I call it feathering it. I think it is called feathering it. I'm trying to feather in the day before. So that was coat 2 that I'm sanding right now. So I'm sanding in coat 2, and I'm feathering it in. And right now, some people will go ahead and paint. I'm trying to check the width to make sure that it's going to be okay, because your last one is always supposed to be your widest one. So this is day 3, and right now I'm feathering in everything in that I can feather in, and then I'm dusting it all off, because if you have that dry dust, I'm telling you, it is going to really mess up your finish. So I think I still got the same bag in that shop vac. I got to empty that poor thing out. So my big trowel wouldn't fit in the bucket, and I didn't want to have to get the other thing for the trowel. So I'm just putting it on with the smaller trowel right there, and then that's the final one that I'm going. It's all the way. See how wide it is? It spreads across the whole the whole compounding. See, it spreads all the way across the whole compounding. So that's my 3rd coat. So after this one, it's just going to be really sand, clean it, and then paint. So you stretch it. You make sure that everything's faded in now from your little nicks is completely faded in right now. So I couldn't get the trowel all the way in there really nice. So I'm just kind of filling that in really good, and making sure that I'm going to go ahead and, oh, see, that one fit. That trowel fit, but I think I still went over in it with the big trowel. That little thing's going to, I'm not going to keep messing with it, because that right there will sand out, and it's a little bit higher. So now I'm doing the other side right here. So I'm filling in a little bit, because where the corner was, it was kind of a little shallow. So I had to fill it in a little bit to be able to get the trowel to work really good on this one. And then, let's see, I'm sealing it back up with water again. See, I'll water down there so you don't mess it up. Then I'm sanding another time. Here it goes. I'm trying to fill it in. And then when I'm sanding the wood, you're going to see me. Okay, that's color matching already. So I finished sanding the wood. Now that's color matching. So what I'm doing right here is that's what was torn off the wall. And that's the extra piece of the thing. So I actually went to a big box store. I took what I needed, what the color of the room was. And she's making the color of the room. It's called robin's egg, but it's a special kind of robin's egg. See, it matches right there. So then this is the big sander. Now this is drywall sandpaper. It's like a mesh, a wire mesh, and it's called dry. It's made just for sanding this. And then I'm feathering it in with my. I love my little sponges. I feather it in with my little sponges. I knocked it down with the drywall mesh. And then I'm feathering out with, they got a little plumber's butt going on right there. So I'm going to have, before you paint now, you got to clean all this up now. So I got my little towel here, and I'm going to wipe it all down, get all that dust off of where I plan on painting now. So that's what that towel's for. I'm just getting everything wiped down. I don't want any dust left on it at all when I go ahead to paint. So I tape off. I have a good friend of mine. He's actually the one that did the drywall here. He never tapes. I mean, he is like a cut-in master. He will give you a straight line just with his brushes. He's amazing. Not me. I have to go ahead and tape off so I don't spill anything. So I'm wiping everything down, one final wipe down before I paint it. And then this is I love these little brushes. I like them better than the other ones. So I'm trying to not get anything on the white, and I'm trying to trim it right here. This is just a little paintbrush. I have a little roller also that I normally use. See, there's the roll. It's a pretty roller, and this is a really good combo that I like here. And the roller fits right in there, and there's a magnet that holds up. And I know you think like, well, that don't match. That's wet paint. When it dries, it is identical to the color of the rest of the room. So, eventually we are going to go ahead and repaint this whole room and have it done a different color. But right now, that robin's egg with the morning sun back there and the hall tree, it looks really nice. I wound up painting more than what I needed to paint to kind of get a better blend in here. Because you got to try to blend it in anyways. Because the sun does fade the paint sometimes. But the good thing is where this wall is, the sun doesn't get this direct paint. So you see, I mean, look at it. It's still wet, and it looks amazing. It looks like the whole thing, and you can see the shine where I painted higher on some of them just to blend it in a little bit better. And then you got to really take care of getting that tape off. And here's what I got to say. I call them signatures when you see a line. That's perfect, but the bottom, I got a little blue drops down at the bottom part of it. That came out perfect right there. Look at that. And this right here, it took 3 days, and I had it, and it looks just like it was brand new all over again. I got the white paint for the trim, but I don't even think I wound up trimming it because everything again came out perfect. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.